Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. I did an audition this weekend, another audition that went well, I guess. Yeah, and then I did nerding, all kinds of atheist nerding kind of stuff. I got the millstone up and going again. After I moved my computers, there was like nerding that had to be done before my shit would work to generate the millstone. Blah, 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 blah. Nerd stuff. But now the millstone has been finally done. I tried it Thursday. When I tried it Thursday, it failed because it couldn't send out the email to the thing. So in other words, it went through the whole process. And in the part of the process, it makes a note that these have already been covered. Okay. That was like Thursday. That way, when I successfully ran it today, it actually only got us from Thursday until this morning. In that time, 19 reports of sexual misabuse or whatever by the clergy or the cover-up of same or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about those things today. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Let's do the thing. Do you have an atheist friend or family member who's a good person and you don't want to see them end up in hell? But now they're on their deathbed. Time is running out. They've been there for you and now you want to be there for them. But how can you save them from your all-loving, forgiving God and its eternal lake of fire? Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. No more worries of loved ones meeting their resolution without absolution. Now you too can force your faith on the weak and helpless in their final moments. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles are designed specifically for the weak and infirmed. Extra large type for failing eyes seeing their last. Deluxe editions come complete with a post-mortem Mother Teresa would have approved baptismal kit. Also available in heathen and heretic versions. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. Coming to a Walmart near you. All right. Good morning, everyone. It looks like my chat isn't quite working right. It's not getting it's not getting the vertical stream. Lately, the vertical stream, like when we look at how many people are streaming, it doesn't show the right number. Something's wrong with the verticals. Anyway, with any luck, soon they will let me have the true dual ingestion streaming through YouTube. Pray to the YouTube gods that they do that. When they do that, it's going to be very cool. Instead of having to do all this crap I got to go through today to make shit work so you guys can see each other's chat only over here from both streams. I mean, once they do the thing and it's all right, then the vertical stream will be the vertical stream, the blah, blah, but your chats will be unified. You'll be able to see each other and talk to each other. I don't know if the horizontal people like that or not. I don't know. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Let's see what we got here. Ricardo Riley, thank you for joining us. Father Flanagan does indeed. Let me see here. I'm going to fire up this program again and see if it's going to function this time. RBTMDL, good morning. I have missed you, Chris. It's good to watch a channel that I feel safe. And good morning, RBTMDL. I don't recognize the name. It must be the YouTube thing. Remind me, if you don't mind, of whom thou art. Select live sources, and we're going to go here and boopsie, and hopefully it'll work this time, my friends. In theory. Oh, yeah, Robert Maywood. It's been a day or three. I hope you're doing great, man. It's been a while. If I remember right, we had some jackass giving you shit, and I ran them off. If I remember right, it's been a long time. I did run them off, though. I don't know. I smoked too much. Good morning, Robert. Let's see. Ricardo Riley. Hopefully our chat will start working here and everything will work. Good morning, Miss Non Sequitur. Fresh from Florida. She's not from Florida. Fresh from Florida is a different person. Good morning. Flockmeister is here. I did indeed reboot the router and the modem this morning, so maybe we won't have the problems we had last week with the internet bouncy. Let me know if it does, okay? Master Pastor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we haven't we haven't had his level of dickhead in a while. You know, usually they don't stay like he did. I mean, he haunted us for quite a while. I guess my early Chris was a little hesitant to block people. Plus, I mean, a lot of people in the chat enjoyed the interaction of arguing with him. But he just got too much. And then whether it was Blaster Pastor, I don't know if he was the same. I think he was the same. Pastor Dean, I think it actually was Pastor Dean. The same thing with Pastor Dean. I mean, in a way, he was fun to have around. He was an antagonist. We argued, we insulted, we made videos and all that stuff. But then they start taking it too far. And I just like, dude, we can't do this. At a point, we're YouTube content creators. We're doing whatever we're doing, but also, I mean, don't just anyway. Sometimes they take it too far. We warn them, and then they don't. So, yeah, he was a real dickweed. Good morning, Miss Non Sequitur. Yeah, all right. Looks like my chat's working now. We'll see. Good morning, everyone. Pastor Dean. Yeah, I still have that video on my channel of Pastor Dean where he made a video. I took it and that's good shit right there. Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a great week. So, let's see. These past few weeks, we've been talking about the various things, destroyingchristianity.com thing. I've been working on getting finished editing the Julius Caesar from the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival where I performed this year. I've been editing it. It's taken a lot of time. It's a lot. I mean, really, you could just stick the two recordings, first half, cut the intermission, second half, stick them together, put them up. Indeed, I'm going to do that. Just the raw whole thing so people who want to see it all the way. But I actually recorded it in 4K, knowing it'd never be viewed in 4K. But then it allows me to zoom in it on the 1080K scale. And so I've been able to work like multiple cameras or, zoom in, zoom out, all this other business, follow the person along the stage. It's really cool. It's just a lot of effort, And then, of course, I had to, the sound. The sound wasn't too bad. I got most of the people, we can hear almost everything they say, despite being an outdoor venue and all that business, despite just being a little cheap shotgun mic on top of my camera. But unfortunately, my little shotgun mic was kind of too close to the big speakers. So, like, whenever Mark Anthony is making a speech, there's a crowd noise in the background that's coming out of the speakers, and you just can't. Thankfully, due to DaVinci Resolve, I actually was able to. So if you watch the raw one, you won't be able to hear what he's saying. But if you watch the edited one, you'll be able to hear what he's saying for people who care. Good morning, everyone. Godspeed says, I'm ready for God Creature to command Father Flanagan. Well, see, that's kind of where the point is really I'm going, is that I've dawdled too long. It's time to make content. I've got my new computer. I've got my software back installed, and it's paid for in very good software. And I have no more excuses. Once I'm done with this editing, I'm going to start making some more Father Flanagan content. I think there's a couple of things we're going to do. If you're interested, we're going to try to... The evil one really wants me to make the Insta-Jew commercial. I could even say inspired by Mel Brooks somewhere on there. That might help save me a little bit. It's not a bad idea. Because, if you met Mel Brooks, he had in the movie Men in Tights, he had the little, what do you call it? Guillotine for the, you just pull, you put that on, yeah. So we have the same thing. Father Flanagan is developing the Insta-Jew product. You just pull out the slack and you give it a whack, or you pull out the wick and you give it a clip kind of thing. And so we're going to have us a little commercial about that. And, I've got a lot of tools I didn't have a year ago when's last I made my last commercial. So hopefully I'll be able to make us some more good shit. And I've got a list. Not only do I have my own crap I got to make, but I've had some people send me some great scripts and content suggestions that I just haven't been able to get to. And I'll even say, like, man, I don't even make my own shit. I appreciate your time and effort, but there's been a couple of people who've sent me some decent scripts that, get off your ass, Chris. So here we are. Wasn't that Men in Tights? Was it Men in Tights? What did I say? Did I say? Yeah, I think it was Men in Tights, though. Oh, I may have said something. But yeah. We're men in tights. How's everything going? How's Trumpty Dumpty these days? Good morning, Vic and Negru. Je ne sais pas. I don't know. Trump, I don't know. I don't normally talk about Trump terribly much on the show. Obviously, there's going to be things coming up that are going to be unfortunate. I mean, we all know what's coming. Mitch McConnell's going to die just after they replace him in the Senate. I mean, he's already dead, but they'll just announce it then. That way the conservatives never lose power. They will continue to go on undermining our elections, and then we'll just have to see what happens this coming election. Either they're going to completely digitally undermine it with Elon Musk and his tech, like they did, I believe, to some degree with the last election, or doesn't matter what the results are going to be. They're just going to say it was fake, it was hacked, it was not true, and they're just not going to leave office. Who's going to do anything? Ain't nobody going to do anything. I mean, the same people who did something whenever we found out that Donald Trump was deep in the Epstein files. Nobody did anything. The same thing whenever Donald Trump went into war against another country without asking the Congress. The same people who, went in and stopped Donald Trump whenever he went down and grabbed the leader of another foreign nation forcibly and removed him from there. I mean, you know what I mean? The same people who stopped all that are going to step in and stop them whenever they don't leave office, whenever they just refuse. It doesn't matter. They're just going to refuse. So that's what I think. That's coming to you this November. Good morning, Atheist Mechanic. How are you doing today? I might be later joining. You got to do the thing. Let's see. Trump is the reality star nobody asked for. No shit. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah. Well, it's complicated, isn't it? There's a thing. Good morning, Randy G. One of the things is they want to label the term totalitarian, fascist. So like whenever you talk about who these people are, this group of mindset, this MAGA right-wing group of mindset, they're supposed to be put under the totalitarian, authoritarian group. But see, that's not really right, is it? I mean, pardon me for being incorrect socially if you're a social studiist, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Trump is not. I mean, Trump is a fascist. Trump is an authoritarian. Trump is a totalitarian, or whatever, however you want to put it, because it seems like they split so many hairs on what that person is. You can't say it's a right-wing totalitarian authoritarian, because we've had left-wing authoritarians, and by left-wing they just mean against the government, against the state. They don't necessarily mean people who just want equality for everybody. That's a new thing. So yeah, that's right. The leaders are that way, but the people who follow them are not. The mass of the Nazis were not the same as the people at the top. Just like the MAGA today are not the same mindset of people who are leading them. It's a fascist, authoritarian dictator, however you want to put it, at the top. But there's got to be a different name for the willing bootlicker underneath. Because those people underneath are incapable of doing what that person at the top or those few people at the top do, because generally whenever those people go out of power, the whole thing collapses. They're not made brainwise to do what the people, they're made brainwise to suck up to the people at the top. See, so we got to find a word for that. We'll think about it someday. He's closer to Borat than Stalin. Godspeed says by this time next year we'll all be in a free summer camp. Well, that's kind of, good morning, call. That's kind of an issue. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. I saw on the interwebs. So again, this is just one of those, I saw a meme on the interwebs that said, at this point now, we have got more people in prison camps than Hitler and the Nazis did. I don't know, by the time, within 2 years so we've done in like less than a year, something like that. A lot. There's a lot. In other words, the point is that we have more people in prison camps than they did then. And it's just starting. It's just getting started. All it's going to need is an emergency. They're just going to have an emergency very soon. Anyway, that's enough talk about that. The reason why... the only reason why I feel compelled to kind of intermix the two between atheism and whatnot and religion, or politics, is just because how many Christians have been, what's the word? I don't want to say duped, because they're willing. Like I said earlier, what's that? Anyway, so many of them they just want Trump, despite, So I mean, if you can talk people out of becoming Christians, you can talk them out of joining that insane mindset and becoming programmed and brainwashed. Really, I think what we need to do is we need to shut down Fox News and those like it, and then we need to arrest a good many of the journalists on Fox News, because we have proof going back a long way that they have been intentionally misleading the public on a grand scale, and they should be in prison for it for the rest of their lives. Yes. Not just Rupert, not just the ones at the top who called the ball. No. The ones down at the bottom. There's some of them who stepped away because they had morals, and then they stepped away, and then they continued with the same right-wing lying, misinformation, spreading bullshit. They just didn't agree with the people who were at the top of the Fox thing. Looking at you. Who is it? What's her name, that blonde? I didn't want to say the word bitch. But you know who I'm talking about. Just one example of. So there's that. Let's see, what we got. Harry Litzer. Good morning, Harry. Says, hey, uncle, do you know what happens when you die? Well, be more specific. My body rots. They bury me. Songs are sung. Glorious songs will be sung. Epics will be sung. I, however, will be just as whatever I was before I was born. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'll be. Nothing. Yep, nothing. No eternal damnation, no God monster there going, I made you so you could fuck up just a little bit in one tiny lifetime so I could torture you for eternity because I know the front to the back and I'm going to torture. It's just fucking stupid. I ain't even going to buy none of that shit. I got no time for that. Let's see. DCJL says, still proving no proof for God not being real. No, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Why you even say things like that? I mean, I know why you do it. I am not here proving there's no God. That's not even what I'm trying. It's not this. It's not like this is the first time I've had to explain this to you. I mean, you know what I'm doing. I use the Bible. I use the Bible to expose how ignorant and hideous the Bible is. The horrific monster creature that lives in the Bible that is the God the Christians worship. And I use the Bible to show Christians that what they think they worship isn't true. They think they got this Sunday sprinkles on top kind of Christianity kind of thing, but they don't know where this comes from, and they don't know how horrific it is. And my job is to expose them to that. There's no God monster to disprove. I mean, all right, so there's a little man living over on a planet. Go prove that there's no man over there. It's just stupid. You can't prove impossible things. Bernard, was it with Bernard who said to teacup around Jupiter? Go prove there's not a teacup around Jupiter. You can't. You just can't. I say that, but we probably could now. Anyway, point being, I don't sit around thinking about proving that God isn't real. And I don't sit, you won't hear me say that. Only ignorant people. DC. Say that. Carl, prove there isn't a God. Thank you, Carl. All right. I mean, what do you want? Well, how would you like me to prove that? You claim your God is all powerful. You claim your God can do anything. You claim your God is strong and mighty and wise, and yet it can't do anything. Can't do anything. Nothing. You can't prove it in any way. You can't prove it. You're sitting here asking me to prove something you haven't proven yet. You disprove something you haven't proven yet. You haven't proven there's a God. You've just said, hey, there's a God. You haven't proven it yet. Proven it. You haven't. Then it'll be my job to disprove it. See, so until you prove there's a God, we could do the whole thing. We could go, look, all right, check it out. Your God is the God creator of the entire year. I'm speechless. Dude, now I'm speechless. Listen, your God is so powerful. It can do anything. All right, have your God destroy my cup right here. All right, I'm going to prove your God isn't real. If your God is real, have it destroy my cup. Come on, do it. I'm disproving your God. 5, 4, it's not real. It has no power. It's a sorry piece of shit God creature. It's 3, 2, it's a child sacrificing, horrific, little girl are ordering the murder and rape of monster. 1. Your God is not there. Looky there. It's not there. I've proven your God is not real. I blasphemed against the Holy Spirit right there in front of you. My cup thus is still the same. It has not been destroyed. It's not. You have no power. Your God creature has no power. I have now proven your God does not exist. What more do you need? I knew that was coming. He's not a genie in a bottle. You can't order God. I know that, right? I know. That's exactly what you've said before. You, well, not you, other Christians say that all the time. That's exactly it. You can't command God to do anything. Okay. Jesus said, though, you can ask in his name, and, I mean, whatever, you know. God had no problem showing himself, demonstrating to the people of the Old Testament, millions of people technically, that he was real and that he was there. There was none of this believe on faith. No, he murdered your firstborn children openly. He sent angels to kill your firstborn children. Everybody saw it, right? According to your own little stories. So, good morning, Frosty Orr. Frosty Lore. He's not a genie in a bottle. You can't order God, and I mean, but you can't prove it in any way. There's no measurable way you could prove it. None. None, 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 none. None. Jesus talks to you, doesn't he? Oh, yeah, Jesus spoke to me. All right. So Jesus talks to you, and Jesus talks to Steve over there. Let's put Steve in a building, and let's put you in a building like Wisconsin. And what we'll do is we'll have Steve and you talk to Jesus. Okay? So since Jesus is talking to you, and you're both talking to Jesus, surely you should be able to pass messages back between you and Jesus. Now, of course, you're like, oh, Jesus, this is not, I mean, it's got to be, he's not going to bark just because we say bark. Not going to jump just because we say jump. No. But if we put stakes on it, it's important now. You guys are both his followers. He speaks to you. So let's start cutting off your little fingertips one at a time, just joint by joint, until you can actually communicate with the other, because now there's stakes involved, right? So Jesus, I mean, right? It's not just about us commanding your God creatures. What about him protecting his own people in any way? Do you think God creature would step up and make it so you could communicate through Jesus to Steve over there and give us like a secret code or whatever we give? You think you could pass that message between Jesus? No, I don't think you could. I think if you could, they already would have. That'd be proof positive that Jesus was real. And yet, nope, no matter what. Oddly enough, millions of people thrown in gas chambers. Those prayers weren't answered, were they? How many children have been molested by the church? Not just the Catholic Church, all of the churches. This is just an uncountable number. There's just no way you could fucking know that. All their little prayers unanswered. God has no power at all. Except for he's going to help you find your car keys, right? He spoke to you and changed your life, right? How many of them loving Christians went down, and sure enough, they got down at their fuck COVID meetings, and I got COVID and I was just fine. Jesus protected me. Not grandma and grandpa so much, though. But I got, you know. Let's see. Those prayers were answered, says Jamie. They were answered by saying no? Is that how they were answered? And that's the whole escape route there, you know. Jesus just said no. Sure, all right, cool. You never got COVID. Yeah, Jesus loves you. That's why you never got COVID. Fuck all the Christians that did get COVID, though. I mean, do you remember what's his name? That jackass from that old TV show a long time ago? Oh, he had these Christian COVID parties. I wonder if they could tell us how many people died from those. You can't necessarily, because you can't track. Of course, a lot of times they weren't even tracking them then, because Donald Trump was downplaying through all the agencies of the effects and what was happening with COVID, going so far as tinkering with the CDC's website, putting misinformation on the website. So, anyway, on point, man. Frosty1, good morning, says, thank you for the super chat. Says, you got to remember that the Jewish God is an ancestor God that changed along the way. We can't remedy the situation except in my own mind, not antagonize the people who do believe. I just think it's fair considering the world is strange, just my opinion. I think that's fantastic. I really do. We have got, there's like 2 billion Christians, 2.5 billion Christians. I feel like your method, that idea, what you got right there, your thing is there's a place for that. There are people out there, Christians out there, who would be responsive to that very thing. There are Christians out there who hopefully would listen to your way, and I appreciate your thoughts there, and hear that and go, you know what, I need to. And then there's a lot that wouldn't. Obviously, you see them here coming much yet. But then there's ones out there who, because there's so many, who would respond to my method. There's so many out there who respond to Steve McRae's method, or who respond to, Matt Dillahunty, or any of those other content creators out there who are, I guess you might almost call controversial or a little harder edge. They've all got their niche. So I appreciate what I'm trying to say is I appreciate your opinion on how you would do things. I feel like there's so many dangers set upon us. We're in such a large, massive war that we need every weapon that we've got, no matter their method. Some people are bazookas. Some people are microphones. Some go in chomping, like this, because there's those out there who are chomping this way first. You know what I mean? But then there's those out there who are also trying to enlighten and use patience and calm. That's one of the things that oftentimes, if in the past, Kelly Laughlin has been like, man, I'm not telling you how to do it, but a little gentler approach. He's got his own way of putting it, but you know what I mean. I do. I get it. I understand how those people who feel that way see my approach and go, and I do. Unlike them and other people who go, I don't like how that atheist does it, or I try not to do that with other content creators, only because we're in the same fight. We're in the same fight. They're doing it differently, and hopefully there are Christians out there that will hear that message and turn, see the light. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I roll. Let's see, Carl, let's get off of here. Genie in a bottle, of course. No genie in a bottle. My cup's still here. Your God is powerless. It's not there, man. Come on. It can do anything. It's a powerful God creature of the entire universe. Can't do shit. Can't do nothing. Godspeed. Harry, self-proclaimed smart people usually aren't. That's a good point. Let's see. Pithecanthropus Hunter, good morning, says, who needs religion? Religion only hinders. The real belief is money and power. As long as you have both, you have the right to do anything. Apparently, we have learned that recently, isn't it? No matter what. Doesn't matter what. As long as you have enough money and the right power, you can do anything. Apparently. Fuck everybody else. Thank you. Good morning. Harry Litzer, thank you for joining us. Sometimes, anyway. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Carl says, you're the danger. Thank you for spelling your right. Coming from your side, it's almost like you did us an honor. Thank you. It's just kind of, I appreciate you putting the extra effort in for that apostrophe and the RE. You're just fantastic. You're awesome. I'm the danger. I am the serpent. That's exactly right. You're right. I am the danger. There's a word, heretic. There's another word, blasphemy. They use those words to hurt people like me throughout history to stop them from pulling people away from the faith, because we are the danger. We show you, we don't believe, so first of all, we're heretic. And then we show you the ridiculous nature. Oh my God, it's so fucking ridiculous. Once you step out of Christianity and you turn back and look at it, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever believed that. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Interesting. We have a super chat. Tech78 says, yes, here we go again. The cosmic accident, talking about the non-existence of someone that he thinks doesn't exist, makes mental asylums great again. Make mental asylums great again. Yeah, you remember who used to fill up mental asylums? People who talk to God. You know that, right? You know that, right? Every other cell was some God bother who thought they were God. You know that. I'm being facetious, but it's true to a degree. Yeah. Yeah. Sure enough. That's interesting, though, that I appreciate the super chat, of course, as always. I'm going to pin it so I can respond. The cosmic accident, that would be me. Ooh, can't really argue against that. Yeah, I can't. No. Talking about the non-existence of someone that he thinks doesn't exist. Okay. All right. So what if we were sitting here talking about, bear with me, Batman not existing? Okay, so bear with me. Hold on a second. Just wait. I don't know if you know this or not. You're going to be shocked as fuck. But Batman is not real. It's not a real person. Batman is not a real person. So you and I can sit here and talk about what Batman would do or would not do, but he's not a real person. We can talk about that. He's not a real person. We're thinking about him existing or not existing, and yet he is not a real person. Somehow how does that escape your brain? How is that too difficult for you to understand that, yes, we can comprehend and in fact judge non-existent people? How can we judge non-existent people? Well, in the case of the God creature, we do that by judging the writings, the actions of it in the writings of its followers. Did that go by too fast? So it's an imaginary creature who people have been writing about for a long time. So we just look at the writings of what they say the creature does. And that's all we have to do. Without the preacher or the pastor going, oh no, this is love, this is blah, blah, blah. No. We don't do that here. I show you the ridiculousness of it. They're always, remember we do this is the new good one. They're always like, Jesus, he went willingly. He did not go willingly. He said so many times in the Garden of Gethsemane, it is not my will to go. I don't want to go, but your will is greater and I will go, but it's not my will. He did it over and over and over and over again. But you guys want to think he went willingly? Sure, fine. Let's see. Frosty one says, the people with full belief in God are evil more than actual evil. So true, isn't it? But really, that conviction is the root of all evil we have here in this world. I'm not saying I don't believe in God, but us Christians are defenseless and cannot stop the status quo. Interesting points. Let me put this up here. So I hope I answered your question, Tech. Thank you for the $5. I mean, you can now go with your friends, maybe your parents or something. Tell them thank you for the $5. And you can talk about whether or not Batman exists or not. You know, you're not going to believe this. I didn't believe this at first either, my friend. Oh, I so didn't believe it. Fuck me. Oh, man, I wish I was just being... The mental illness is a thing. I mean, really, there are people out there who really do believe Batman exists, or that Jedis exist, or that there is really there's people out there who really believe these things that we absolutely know are not real. We know where they came from, why they're there. We know everything about them, and we know they're not real. But there are absolutely people who believe in them. Right? I mean, Jesus. Some people come in here and they'll be like, you guys don't even know a woman from a man. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. That's not even my business. You guys worry about the stupidest, simplest of shit. There's so many bigger things, as you can see, to be talked about. The harm done by the people who believe in this imaginary creature. That's the deal. It's the harm done by those people. You don't think there's any harm done by them, but there is. The fact that you don't think there's any harm done by them, that Christians don't oppress each other, anybody. You know, any Christians in the chat, give us a thumbs up if you don't think Christians oppress people. You don't think we do, right? Give us a thumbs up. Show us how you don't think we oppress people. If you're there. Frosty, yes, thank you, Frosty. I do appreciate the super chat very much. Muy mucho. Let me go here. Oh, it's the wrong page. Pithecanthropus hunter. I hope I'm saying that right. Abolish all religions, cool. Make the earth just. Let money and power be the deciding factor. Let's compete to accumulate money and power. The winner gets everything. That's fair. I don't think those two aren't related. I mean, I appreciate your thoughts. Those aren't related. I don't think they're related. We could get rid of religion and then have a rational, secular, democratic, socialist society. Yeah. That worked on secular humanist values of equality and equal treatment. We don't actually need religion to do that. It doesn't have to be going full-blown, just let money run over. I don't know how, it seems to me like you're saying, let's get rid of religion And money will just take over. But religion and money go hand in hand. And religion is part of the reason why the money has taken over. Christian nationalism is, billions of dollars have been poured into this. You can't say Christianity isn't about the money. What we have now is the money and the Christians and the right-wing people with the money overthrowing our world. That's what we got right now. And look look at the result. We could do without the religion. We could do with some regulations on the money. People need to live. Well, we want to be able to do stuff. Anybody who thinks socialist, the old idea of socialism or something, they've been lying to you. If you're an American, you already value socialist things like you probably don't like the public library. The police, I want to say you're a bootlicker, so if you're probably the police, you like the police. So there's that. But the police, that's a socialist kind of thing. The fire department's a socialist kind of thing. The hospital, the emergency hospital, they used to be anyway. Now they've kind of monetized them. Isn't that sick, the way they did that? Monetizing healthcare the way they did, isn't that just disgusting? I don't see why we should let those people run the country or the world any more than we should let the religious people run the world. We should, I'm just saying. Carl 2030, data center coming to a town near you. I know that's coming from your side, though. That's not coming from our side. Man, you're fucking idiot. See, you're lost, and you're lost. You just couldn't go that extra mile too many times, could you? You're lost. We are mammals, not animals, and you misspelled mammals. I just want to say briefly that mammals are part of animals. There's like plants, animals, and mammals are part of animals. You make my head hurt. Do you believe atheism is true? Thank you for the $5. Let me read the rest of the question. Do you have empirical and scientific evidence that is absolutely true? If you don't, then you're a silly man. Well, hold on just a second. Let's do this, Tech. Atheism is just the belief that there's not a God. That's all. That's all it is. Can you disprove Zeus? Can you give me scientific and empirical evidence that Quetzalcoatl doesn't exist from South America? Can you give me 100% evidence that Vishnu does not exist? Please do that now in the chat. You know what I mean? You just can't do that. And that's not what we're sitting around here doing. Here's the deal, though. Let's take your question. You say, I want to rephrase it, and you think on this for a while. Do you believe Christianity is true? Do you, my friend, have any fucking empirical or scientific evidence that is absolutely true about Christianity? Do you? No, you don't. You don't even have any proof that Jesus was a real fucking person. There's no contemporary evidence that Jesus was real. Maybe, and I'll give it because I haven't heard it yet. Maybe there's one letter from Pilate, possibly, that mentions Jesus. And if it does, it certainly doesn't say he was the almighty creator of the universe and God creature. There is no fucking evidence. And you have no power. Throughout history, all Christianity has been doing is spreading by the sword and murdering people. Murdering people. Millions and millions of people killed by war. Probably you're typing in Mao already. Mao, and no, don't even go fuck with that. If you don't know, you don't know. I don't have time to explain it to you. But you just don't do that. It proves that you're God creature. This is the whole deal, Tech. Prove you're God creature. You make the claim that there's a creature that exists on another plane of existence that we can't see, we can't talk to, but it watches us all the time. Apparently not giving a fuck about you. It will watch you masturbate and judge you later for that so it can punish you for an eternity. However, if a priest comes in and starts raping a small child, that motherfucker will sit there and watch and not do a goddamn thing. Now you, my ignorant Christian friend, you prove that creature is real. Somehow prove that. And if you can't, with empirical and scientific evidence, absolutely true, then you're a fucking idiot. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should have been told a long time ago that this shit was ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. You should not, really, you should be shamed. Not ashamed. You should also be ashamed. But publicly shamed. When you come out and you say any of this stuff in public, people should shame you right there. They just, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
So, Tack, have you come up with a way to prove that your God creature exists? Listen, one of us is making a claim here. I'm not making the claim that there's no God existing. I'm just saying I don't believe it because nobody's proven it to me. I don't know there's not a God. I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't know that there's not a God. I just don't believe it. You, however, are making the claim that there is a God, that it's all powerful, that it's going to judge me after I die, and that I have to change every aspect of my life. One of us is making a claim. The other is not. You are the one making the claim. You claim there's a God creature. Prove it, but you cannot prove it by any measure. And my fucking coffee cup says so. My coffee cup mocks you and your puny God. I've got another one up there on a shelf over there that I actually, when I wrote a book, it's been 16 years ago. I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, I'm here alone with this coffee cup right here. God, you could prove to me that you are real. Just destroy my coffee cup. Still there, still in one piece. God, of course, God's not going to bark for me. No. But he'll help you find your parking space, or he'll punish me because you think, oh, yep, he smited him and killed his internet because he said Jesus was, God can do things when you want it to, but can't anytime else. It's powerless, absolutely powerless. Pray for it. For why? Why do you pray then? For what purpose do you pray? Let's see here. God creature. So I got a couple of them here. So Carl says, I've forgot more stuff than you would ever know. Okay, let me help you, man. I feel you're right. You're so much smarter than I am. I guess. However, I've forgotten more stuff than you will ever know. I'm sorry. I can't help but correct third graders whenever they're wrong. Dude, if you're going to insult my intelligence, fucking spell it right. It'd be one thing if you weren't. Fuck. Tell me English is like your third fucking language or some shit, But to come in here and call me ignorant, say I don't know the Bible, you don't know shit about the fucking Bible. I bet you dimes you don't know a fucking thing about the Bible. I've read the whole Bible front to end. I don't think I have ever read the whole Bible front to end. I don't think I ever have. Oh, well, you're smarter than me. Yeah, but I bet you I know more about it than you do. And also because I doubt you've actually read the whole Bible front to end. I don't believe Christians when they say that. I really don't. No. They might think the New Testament, maybe. It's called Karma. Those good spots. Yeah. RB says, lately I've been taking a real hard agnostic position. I think it's an even harder position than atheism. Well, it usually goes like this. I don't know if a God exists, and I don't think anyone else knows. That's interesting. My deal is I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if there was a God creature that exists, if I did say I knew there's a God creature that exists or doesn't exist, something. If I said I knew, then I'd have to show how I know that, I believe, prove how you know. Just like these people in the chat are asking me to prove. But I don't know. I don't say there's not. I can't prove something that doesn't exist. And who knows? Tomorrow a God creature might roll up and say, hey, here I am. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't ever say that. However, they make the claim that there is this God creature that does all these things. Can do all these, and it doesn't do anything. It's completely helpless, completely impotent until they want their keys or a parking space. Or that job, It is important to you that you're not gullible. Me too. Well, see, that's a whole. I don't need to read more about who's saying what, because oftentimes somebody will come in here and they'll say things that are perfectly reasonable. Like, man, you are trapped. You got to see reason, see the light, get out of the trap. You're in a cult and all this stuff. And they are actually talking to me about atheism being a cult. Everything they say is true, except for it should be reflected back on them. I've seen it so many times. Like, man, they'll be like, oh man, you need to stop being led by these other people who don't know shit. Read the Bible, learn for yourself, find God. And I'm like, wait. You had me up to the find God part. Learn for yourself. Go read the Bible. There's a lot to learn. But I mean, if you just read it start to finish, it's just going to be a hodgepodge of different stories and blah, 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 blah. I mean, by the time you get to the middle of the Old Testament, you won't even know what the fuck happened. It's not a contextual, written in one story kind of situation. And so reading it through doesn't really make sense. If you're going to read it start to finish, you're actually just kind of assuming that the books are in order to begin with. I mean, obviously Genesis would be in order, right? Because in the beginning there was darkness. And then God created the heavens and the earth. And then man, but then there was a serpent who had already been there, already been in the world, already knew God creature, had already been part of the heavenly host. Apparently there had been a war between the angels and heaven and all that before. So maybe Genesis is actually chapter 5 or chapter 6. And we don't have the first few where the God creature created the old whatever, blah, 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 the war happened. He's like, fuck all of you, and started this new one. I don't know. Remember, guys, Batman doesn't exist, so talking about non-existence is really, really important contribution to society, his non-existence. See, that's a good point. Thank you again, Tech, for throwing the money, and for the helping me make a point. You're right, Tech. Tech says, remember, guys, Batman doesn't exist, so talking about his non-existence is really, really important contribution to society. Yeah, no. Here's the difference. Do you have the followers of Batman going around and putting his rules in schools so our children will have to learn that Batman is the one true God? No, that's not happening? No? Okay. So, sorry, staff meeting. So the people who believe in Batman, they haven't taken over our government and are attacking another nation in the name of Batman right now? No, that's not happening? The followers of Batman, have they overturned Roe versus Wade, so now women who are not even followers of Batman can't have control over their own bodies, even if it's an emergency? Was it that the followers of Batman? Huh? Was it the followers of Batman that does the book bans in schools? No, not the followers of Batman. Christianity has a negative effect on our society. It hurts society in so many different ways. So even the nice ways, you think. So you got this, you're going to help the poor. You fuck helping the poor. Christians don't help the poor. That's like virtue signaling on a fucking religious scale, on the scale of a religion. Oh, sure, occasionally they might help the poor, but you saw the lady, right? And I love going back to the lady. I wish I even knew her name. I'd love to have her on the show. The lady who went around calling church after church after church, begging for help for her and her starving baby, and they kept turning her away. Church after church after church after church. Oh, do you go to our church? No, we don't do that for people who don't go to our church. Oh, wait, we don't do that at all. How many of them said they just don't do that at all? The ones that were most likely to actually go help were those single little old man sitting in a box fucking church over there. That was the guy who's going, you know what? I'll be over with some groceries in just a minute. But the ones, the bigger they got, with the more Christians they had, the less likely they were to help or do anything. She even went so far as started with her local area, calling, looking for help. Please, can you help me? Please, can you help me? No. Some did. Can't lie. Go watch it for yourself. But most didn't. Most didn't, to a shameful amount, my friends. Then she started calling all over the country. All over the country. She even had a recording, eventually, she didn't start with the recording, of a crying. She didn't really have a baby starving, right? It was a social thing, social study. But she got a recording of a baby and had it in the background while she's calling these people, and they still turned her down. They still turned her. Oh yeah, good Christians. They'll help. They'll help. Sure they will. So, go here. Thank you, Tech, for that other, and then we'll go here. Let me see this right here. So you, Tech, may not see that your religion is oppressive, but it is. I mean, not everybody's a Christian. Not everybody wants to live by Christian rules. And you guys seem to think we're like, we talk about Jesus, and Jesus, he condoned slavery. Jesus condoned slavery. Slaves, obey your masters as you would God in heaven, right? That sort of thing. Remember that other time where he was talking about the example to be used between your relationship between God, a follower of God, and a follower and his God and his followers' relationship is that of a servant and a slave. And the slaves who have done wrong knowingly will be beat with many blows. The slaves who have done wrong unknowingly will be beaten with few blows. This is Jesus talking. But wait a second, you say. We can't judge Jesus and God creature for how they thought about slavery back then because our morals have changed. We know better now. So we can't judge them by how they acted back then based on our morals. But you want to judge us today, how we act by what they thought morals should be, by what Jesus and those people thought was a good person. Really? Interesting. Chris says he only cares about what affects him. Did I? I mean, Matthew, I don't have a daughter. I don't really have a daughter. My wife's got a daughter. My wife is beyond birthing age. My wife's daughter, is almost beyond birthing age. Well, no, she's not. Oh my God, she's not that old. She's in her 30s, right? But I mean, and it's really unlikely that they're going to go after her and force her to have children. I mean, she's one of those that's smart. She's going to control her. It doesn't affect me, man. It doesn't affect me. I'm 55 years old. 54, 55, somewhere in there. I'm 54, 55. I have no children in school. Why the fuck do I care if you're putting the 10 Commandments in school? It doesn't affect me. Why do I care if there are book bans in Alabama? Doesn't affect me, does it? It's not about affecting me, jackass. I'm not like you. I'm here because other people are getting hurt by your religion. Other people, not me. No, I'm actually quite privileged. I hate to say it. To not say it would be a fucking lie. Right, friends? Am I right? I mean, I'm 50. I am 6'3". I've got. I'm tall, handsome man. Got a hairline. I mean, I have so many advantages. I'm straight. However you want to see that. I'm white. I'm tall. I'm handsome. I'm straight. Blah 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 blah. So I should only give a shit about me. Is that right? I'm the perfect man. It's all about me. But I gotta say, it's so rare that the me that you see is reflected back into my eyes to where I see that man. I don't see that man like you see that man. I see through my eyes. And what I see through my eyes is people suffering. And I don't like seeing people suffer. I don't like seeing people hurt. It doesn't matter what I go through. It doesn't matter if I had to go through that or not when I was a kid. I don't want somebody to go through that now because it's unpleasant. It's undesirable. It sucks. That's what I see through my eyes. Pain. How many of you Christians cheered whenever your Christian buddies took over the military and destroyed the careers of all the trans people by kicking them out of the military? Just destroyed their lives, their entire lives. Praise Jesus, right?
Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libs would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
Okay, I'm not going to go too far into this just because, but the Christians oftentimes will do the whole, they were bondservants. No, they weren't. They weren't bondservants. They were not. It's a lie. Either you're lying now and saying they're bondservants, or somebody lied to you and you believed it and you didn't look into it. But they weren't bondservants. They were not. The way the whole thing worked was if you happen to be a fellow ancient Israelite, Hebrew, depending on the time, if you were one of them, they could only keep you as a slave for 7 years. But all slave rules applied. They had rules about how much you could beat your slaves and how you treated your slaves and all that. That's how us Christian or atheists often bash on you guys, because your Old Testament literally tells your people how to treat their slaves. Does it say anywhere they're a bond slave? In that one where it says you can beat your slave with many blows, why would the slave stay if he was going to get beat with many blows? Jesus is saying beat your slave with many blows. He doesn't say beat your slave, bond slave. No. He does not. He does not. And so you're a bond slave to God? Are you a bond, so you can just quit God at any time? Is that the kind of slave you are? Is that what you are? You're a bond slave to Jesus? You can just quit any time and no harm will come to you. You can just walk out any time, right? That's not right. That's not right at all. And it's disingenuous, dishonest, right, really, for people to claim that. And the reason why they claim that is because they're trying to soften the fact that they're God creature, that Jesus sanctioned slavery. That was something he really could have come out after, right? He really could have come out after, but he didn't. No, sure didn't. Nope. In fact, he condoned it. So, what's in the Bible? Matthew, did you just get here? Were you not here just a few minutes ago whenever I was talking to this other guy about how Batman doesn't exist? He's like, well, it's a good thing people sit around making shows about how Batman doesn't exist. I'm like, well, let's go through this. Is Batman's followers forcing their bullshit on our children in schools? Is Batman's followers forcing their bullshit on our women through the Supreme Court? Is Batman's followers attacking another nation in the name of Batman? No, they're not. Christians are all doing that. You've watched this show so many times, dude. You are such a repeat offender, and yet you still don't fucking show you what Bible verse. I always show you the Bible verses. You just got here. Yeah, well, we've done this before, man. We really have. Anyway, because it's Christians who force their bullshit on everybody else. That's why we do what we do. And you notice none of those things I mentioned affect me, because that's where the other person went. No, they don't affect me. I don't have kids in school. I'm not a trans person in the military who was kicked out of their lifelong career because Christians took over the government and didn't like trans people in the government. Batman didn't do that. His followers did not do that. Christians did that. So, he is full of deceit. Yeah. That's what you want to say, but I'm not. Why would I deceive you? Well, You're the ones hurting people. Why would I deceive you? I'm trying to show you the light. I mean, it's like, dude, you believe in an absolutely stupid fucking religion. You really do. You just can't see it. I'm on the outside going, tap, tap, tap. Dude, you need help. Get out of there. Get free. Here's the truth. Look at the Bible. Here's the truth. You don't care, do you? You don't give a shit. I mean, you're so just disingenuous. You're just going to openly lie anyway. So it doesn't matter. Matthew says a government or a human king is denial of God as our king. Actually, Jesus himself said follow. Matter of fact, it says somewhere there, don't blaspheme your leaders. One of the rules, it says, do not blaspheme your leaders. I want to mention, dude, and you're not going to care. This is another fact you're not going to care of. Jesus was never a king, dude. Never a king. John chapter 6, they tried to make him a king. He ran away, literally ran away from it. When the people he was supposed to be king over were said, do you want him to be listed as your king? They're like, no, he was not our king. No. Then the person who actually did that insulted Jesus by using that term, king of the Jews. Jesus was never the king. He never held a throne, never waged an army. He never did any of the things to be a king. You're just fucking jacking yourself off. Oh, yes, he said someday after he dies, he's going to be the kingdom of everything. Sure, yeah, the same guy in the fucking padded cell over in C4 said the same thing. No proof. All after you die, thousands of years later, right? We're thousands of years beyond Jesus even saying those things. And nothing. Fuck, man. Do this right here. That's a slave, not a bondservant. A slave. That's right, slaves. Now, see, one of the things about I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the thing here. Paul, I don't really... Does Jesus say if you have no government, create a government? Jesus wasn't really about the government like that, was he? Not really. No. He was actually kind of bucking the government, wasn't he? Because at the time, Jesus was actually being... Judea was under the Roman rule. The government that Rome ruled was Rome. And the sub-government under that actually kind of interacted more with the people would be the Jewish. I don't think they were rabbis at the time, but the leaders of the Jews at the time, right? And that subgroup denied Jesus. The primary group, the main group, the government ruling, executed Jesus for allegedly claiming himself to be a king within their rule. You don't do that. So, thank you for the... Ooh, I saw some tea and crumpets go by. Thank you, Ivy Ann. Tea and biscuits for the staff meeting. Oh, I appreciate it. They will, too. Yes, they will. The evil one is home today. So that's why they're not in here with me. Yeah. She's in there. She went to the grocery store. Let's see. M1000 AVZ. Yeah, well, you're about halfway through the stream. Good morning. Let's see here. I'm double tapping on that screen and doing all that good. There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. There are a lot of things here, though, that whenever we talk about, I mean, Jesus and government and money are the smallest of my concerns. I don't give a shit. I don't. I mean, we can do that, though. I mean, briefly, if you want to. I've always said that religion was a scam. The base core being either to get your resources, whether it be goats, sacrificial lambs, doves, money, whatever. It's always a scam. And what did Jesus say, my friends? Jesus said that the rich should give to the poor. Right? Rich, give to the poor. And rich, who do you give or poor, who do you give your money to? Poor, you give to the church. So if the rich is giving their money to the poor and the poor is giving their money to the church, who's getting the money? Right? I mean that's not even a hard circle to follow, is it? I mean, it's almost like a money laundering scheme to get the money from the rich people to the church. You just give it to the poor people, and the poor people come over and buy their drugs, their Jesus drug. Interesting. Fireman philosophy. Jesus told the rich man to give his money to the poor. He was trying to solve poverty. I don't think that he was, really. I mean, I think it was kind of a situation because he knew that rich man wouldn't do it. It was a test to see if he was really willing to follow him and if he would really give up everything he had to do so. I could be wrong, though. I mean, Jesus didn't really seem to give a shit about the entirety of the poor at all. There was the time we like to use the example of the woman who was a Canaanite, and Jesus and his followers were there, and she begged and begged and begged, and Jesus wouldn't heal her daughter. It got to the point to where the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Dude, this woman is bugging us so much. Please run her off." Before Jesus comes along and says, "You know what? To help you would be like giving the food for the children to the dogs. To use my power to heal you," because apparently his power is not infinite. "To use my power to heal your daughter, it would be a waste of that power because it's meant for the Jews." Then, of course, she did say, "Well, even dogs get the scraps from the table." And that's how she got healed. What a disgusting story, isn't it disgusting? She had to lower herself to that of a dog, calling herself and her daughter a dog. It's actually her daughter, right? It's not her that needs the healing. This Jesus is actually calling a dying little girl a dog, because he's talking about healing her. To heal her would be like throwing food meant for the children to the dogs. Loving Jesus. Yeah. Did Carl get raptured? Probably not. New Testament examples of tithes are 50% to 100% and leaving everything behind. I don't know what's wrong. There's a tradition going all the way back, and you can go look throughout where they make up rules and require sacrifices. And the sacrifices always go to the priest. There was a time where one part, I don't remember when, I'm fuzzy on it, but so they had it to where you could only do this at the temple or the synagogue. The only place you could do these sacrifices was there. That way the priests got all the goods, right? And then somebody, was it Jesus? Was Jesus one of them that got in trouble? Somebody was causing problems because they were out doing sacrifices not in the temple. They were doing them kind of locally, like our traveling priest would go along and do something. And that was bad, because then all of a sudden now the priests are losing their income because the people out in the street are just forgiving people's sins or whatever. It was a thing. Christian groups are too weak. Good morning. It's time for you to forget your religion, destroy anything that doesn't agree with you. No more arguing. War is the way. Well, that seems like how they've been doing it. See, whenever you say things like that, Pith, I mean, we agree on half of it, I mean, Christian groups are too weak. It's time to forget your religion. And then, grow, learn, help other people get out of it, live your life, going on to destroy. I don't really see why leaving Christianity has to exactly be a horrific thing, or not a horrific thing, but it has this very bad outcome. Leave Christianity and become horrific and violent, or leave Christianity and let money run over and everybody live by money. And I mean, that's what I keep getting out of those statements. I may be misinterpreting. Yeah. Miss Non Sequitur, good morning, Kelly, says, if the rapture happens, I don't think it's going to be all the Christians going. And they would agree with you. I think almost every Christian would agree with you that they're not all going. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know enough about the Islamic religion to say how they do. I don't know if they're as fractured as Christians are, because we know they got like 40,000 different denominations of Christianity. How many denominations, if you will, of Islam are there? I mean, I know there are two big ones, the Sunni and the Shia, but are there like thousands of small fractured, I don't know. First Sunni Baptist Church of the whatever, I don't know. Luke 12:48. Ooh, are we doing Bible study today? Let's look at Luke 12, because context, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, so, yeah, 12, yeah. So this is Jesus talking, using, I believe, about being ready as a ready and waiting servant for God when the time comes. That's kind of a part of it. And verse 48 says, the master of that servant. All right, so really we're kind of missing some stuff. The Lord answered, who is the faithful and wise manager, whom is the master put in charge of his servants? All right. Whom the master put in charge of his servants to give them their food allowance in the proper time. It will be good for that servant whom the master finds doing so when he returns. Do what you're supposed to. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose the servant says to himself, my master is taking a long time in coming, and he then begins to beat the other servants, both men and women, and to eat and drink and get drunk. The master of that servant will come on that day when he does not expect him, and at that hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the unbelievers. The servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready, or does not do what the master wants, will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows. Jesus essentially, I guess if we're relating this to heaven and hell, Jesus is saying, even if you did wrong and you don't know you did wrong, you're still going to be punished. Leviticus 4 is actually all about Leviticus 4 is an accidental sacrifice, it's a sacrifice in case you sinned and you don't know it, just in case. Well, that's why. There's kind of a thing. Apparently they hold that against you, even if you don't know you sinned, and Jesus backs that up right here. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows, but you still beat that motherfucker, right? From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from whom has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. And then, I've come to bring fire on earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. But I have a baptism to undergo, and what constraint I am under until it is completed. Do you think I came to bring peace on earth? No, I tell you, but division. From now on, there will be 5 in one family divided against each other, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son and son against father, mother against daughter and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. He said to the cloud, when you see the cloud, a cloud said to the cloud rising in the west, immediately you say it's going to rain, and it does. Okay, so I thought he was going to talk about himself being this, but he's not. He goes on about it. But you see right there, we went through that whole thing. Jesus telling you, beat your master or beat your slaves. Right here. Even if they didn't know they were doing wrong. Now, again, this is him talking about the relationship between people and God. You're a servant to God. You're a slave to God. This is that's what this is. Jesus using, I guess, slavery as an analogy for your relationship to God. And, somebody in the chat earlier said, Jesus doesn't like government, Christians don't like it, something like that. I know the whole Christianity is just like, to credit Christopher Hitchens, is like North Korea. One single boss at the top who has all the rule, everything he says, no matter what. There's no vote, there's no nothing. Did I misspeak? Let's see here. Sorry, I see. I'm not sure why Luke 12:8 is being dissected, but the whole of it is. Let's see. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows from everyone who has been given much. All right, but here's the deal. This is Jesus saying, hey, a slave who does something wrong and didn't know they were doing wrong should be beaten with few blows, but still beaten. Where's the forgiveness? Where is it that you say, you did wrong, I forgive you in Jesus' name? Where is that bullshit? There's none of that. Why does he say beat your slaves at all? Where's forgiveness? Where's peace? Where's redemption? Where's mercy? No, that's beat your slaves. And if your slave didn't know they did wrong, you still beat that sumbitch, just with fewer blows. Well, what if, the other one was they did wrong, you beat them with 100 blows? Well, okay, this one didn't know he was doing wrong. 90 is less than 100, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, D, we're not. The reason why we don't talk about Muslims is because they're not here in the United States forcing their shit on everybody. Christians are. Muslims over in the Middle East, we don't really cover about that. There's atheists over there who talk about them and help them, but over here we're dealing with Christians, right? So who's the prevailing the religion in the United States? Christians. So we don't waste our time talking much about Muslims at all. No need. Somebody else is doing that. Let's see here. Yep. The mercy and forgiveness is in the fewer blows, says Godspeed. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So much for the whole forgive me in Jesus' name, right? I forgive you in the name of Jesus Christ. None of that business, right? Didn't he sacrifice for their sins? Anyway. You guys are wonderful. Matthew is not an adult. Miss Hypatia Stanhope. Not at all. By no stretch of the imagination. I'm probably topping out maybe 14. Possibly. 14 tops. Let's do Holy Halos. Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle. And maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable. But every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward I'm saving myself for marriage speeches. With Holy Halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be, but soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father, we're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% works for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the Fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your Pope.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, Your Hiney. Would there be anything else?
He may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal. All right, we're back. And IVN, thank you again for the 10-pound super chat, tea and biscuits. And we had Oddmod became a channel supporter. Thank you, Kif. Very much. We appreciate you. Matthew says woman can be pregnant with the same baby for 7 years in Islam. Every time I read your posts, my IQ drops. I'm going to stop reading your posts. They're counterproductive to my intelligence, to other people's intelligence. Let's see here. Yes, got you right there. Thank you guys very much. Thank you all for your support on the channel, by the way. This happens on the show. Occasionally I get to a point where somebody in the chat they get so ridiculous. I just stop reading their stuff. I'll even start reading. I'm like, oh no, that's from that person. I just stop reading. I won't even care. Welcome to that group. And then they'll be like, I stunned him silent. Look at me. Look, I'm all proud. He was speechless by what I said. I'm like, yeah, you were so fucking stupid that what you said just kind of took me aside for a moment, and I had to just kind of brace myself against something and go, are there people this fucking stupid in the world? And if that was your goal, my friend, wow. D, eat this bread as it represents my flesh. Drink this wine as it represents my blood. That's a altercation of human sacrifice. You're not actually doing it, but in the spirit of it, you actually are sacrificing. Well, it's a blood cult. Absolutely, it's a blood cult. It's metaphorical, isn't it? It kind of got to where the blood was getting too grody, so they could with the blood, and it's just metaphorical. It's not really blood, but it's just blood of Jesus. But it is a blood cult. It is a cult based on blood. That's a blood cult, is it not? Yeah. I mean, Jesus was sacrificed in order to stop the blood sacrifice of animals, of a fashion. But it's all blood sacrifice. That's what was being sacrificed before, was animals, to get their blood, right? Blood, you took the lamb's blood. All the time the lamb's blood is spread over your door. Remember, if you were in Egypt, to help save your baby from the god creature who's going to murder your firstborn son if you don't spread lamb's blood over your door. That sort of thing. Blood, it's a blood cult. You're washed in the blood of Jesus. Through Jesus' blood, you are dirty, but it makes you clean. Isn't that a blood cult? Well, I don't see how you could define a blood cult any other way. You know? Jackson Garrett, good morning. How are you doing? Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I think we should play the Goat Scented Flesh Candle song here in just a few minutes for those of you who are maybe in need of a goat later but don't have one. You know, a goat scented flesh candle will keep the god monster off your back. And I'm going to be producing some of those too, for reals. Yeah, I need to look into that. If Christianity isn't a blood cult, then I don't know what is, says Donnie. I know. Of course, some people go, yeah, we know, it's a big deal. Blood cult. It's your bad word for what we do. It's just a bad word we have for what they do. But when you step outside of it, you go, oh my God, it's a blood cult. You know, if you saw the images, just the description, like I said, Moses cutting the throats of the bulls and spreading the blood on the altars, sprinkling the blood on the followers as they chant, holy, holy is the Lord. It's a blood cult. Ivy Ann, my son is in a wheelchair, has disabilities. A woman cornered me and said it was demons, that the blood of Jesus would get rid of them. Yeah. Did she have any on her? Was it the blood of Jesus, her gardener? You never know. So there's that. Before I could say anything, he grabbed her arm and let out this demonic howl. So proud of him. That is awesome, Ivy, and that is awesome. Kind of wish they still had barbecues at churches. still at barbecues are churches. You know, really though, when you think about it, what would happen today if you went down to your local mega church with a horse trailer behind you, go back there and get your bulls out into the parking lot while the people are in there in the church and serving. And as they're coming out of the church in their thousands, because there's a bunch of them in there, as they're there, you have your bulls out there and you're cutting the bulls' throats. You got little stone altars that you've built and you're cutting the bulls' throats and catching that blood in the thing. And then like maybe, right in the church part, and then you're sprinkling it on the people and sprinkling it on yourself and sprinkling it on the altars. I wonder if they would revolt at the origins of their religion. Would that be disgusting for them? Bulls, yeah. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Well, there's Hebrews 9:13, for if the blood is of bulls and goats and the ashes of heifer sprinkling the unclean sacrificeth and purifieth, but that's not what I'm looking for. Moses, here we go. Exodus 24. Let's look at that one. I heard more money coming through. I appreciate you. Or a subscriber or something. Thank you. Let me go over here. Exodus 24. So, oh man, why before you do that? There we go. All right, so this is Moses. This is his people. Exodus 24. They've already got out of Egypt. They're doing the thing. 24. And then it goes here. When Moses went and told the people all the Lord's words and laws, they responded with one voice, everything the Lord has said we will do. Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. Cool. He got up early the next morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. He then sent young Israelite men and they offered burnt offerings. Then he sent young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed young bulls as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in bowls, and the other half he splashed against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people. They responded, we will do everything the Lord has said, we will obey. Moses then took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. I kind of want to pause there. Doesn't that just sound like horrific, right out of a demonic horror movie or some shit? Doesn't it kind of sound like that? Moses and Aaron and these other guys and 70 elders of Israel went up and saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was something like a pavement made of lapis lazuli and a bright blue, as blue as a bright blue sky. But God did not raise his hand against these leaders of the Israelites. They saw God and they ate and drank. That's kind of it. I'm looking for it must be a different chapter where they do the holy holy is. Anyway, but still, how would they feel if that's in case the person was asking? That was Exodus 24. I mean, that's the origin of their religion. Right there is Moses building stone altars, catching blood of animals, sprinkling it on the altars and on the worshipers as they pledge to do whatever this demonic creature commands them to do. Right out of a fucking horror movie. Am I wrong? I just, yeah. It's just disgusting. Blood and I just, people ain't right in the head. To kill a cow and cook it and give it away. Did you hear me say anything about cooking a cow? Are we talking about the same thing? Why didn't you put in there, build altars of stone and sprinkle the blood on the altars and on the worshipers? Why didn't you write that in there? You just left all that out. You said to kill a cow and cook it and give it away. You make it sound as though it's a generosity. It's a generous thing. They're being kind. Very dishonest of you, isn't it? Very dishonest of you. Typical Christian. You might need a goat-scented flesh candle.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh no, the Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
All right, we're back. So, Matthew Danovich says, what do you think they are doing with the meat after the sacrifice? Now you're asking the right questions. It very often goes to the clergy. Very often goes to the priest or the temple. They just get what's left over. You'll notice there's parts in the Bible where they're like, you know what? If a woman has had a girl baby, then she needs to come to the temple and sacrifice a dove, and then she is unclean for 2 weeks. I mean, there's different. So it sounds like right then the clergy at that time is getting a hankering for certain things or that. So they just write it into their laws. Oh yeah, you got to do this, and you got to bring us this, and you got to bring us that. Who gets to keep it? You don't think God gets the money out of your tithe droppings, do you? Do you? No. You're right. You're asking the right questions. Who gets the goat? Who gets the sacrifice? Beat it, beat it, beat it. Damascus, yeah. They can't all be pretty, can they? They can't all be hot and sexy. Not all goats could be equally hot and sexy. The Damascus goats are just rough. Like a goat after a bender. The priest's portion are subject to which side? See? Trapped on the inside, brother. You see it, don't you? What, priests don't have jobs? They don't have jobs? They sit around just priesting all day? Is that what they do all day? Just priesting? Therefore, they can't go get jobs and you got to support them with your tithe? Is that how that works? Why can't God provide for them? He's almighty and all-powerful. He protects his children, if you will. Why doesn't God protect them? Why doesn't he pay the power bill? Yeah, Matthew, the sacrifice is a scam. The whole back then, the sacrifice, a different kind of scam. It's like a tithe today, though. Did we lose somebody in the chat? They run away screaming. Who in the hell taught Cain and Abel how to sacrifice? Who was doing it before them? That's a good point. They really did a pretty shitty job, I would say, huh? Here's one of the things that I like to point out about the Cain. Oh, there it went. Who the hell taught Cain and Abel? Remember, this is one of the things about the Cain and Abel story, is that they were both bringing the best of the fruits of their labor. True? My understanding. So it's not like either one of them were holding anything back. Now, Abel was a herder, and he herded sheep or goats or whatever. Cain worked the land, worked the ground, which, as you know, is a shit job. Being a farmer, it's a work-a-day kind of job. All the day, work-a-day kind of job. Now, if you'll read the very chapter of the Bible before, you will see where God creature gets mad at Adam and Eve and then curses the ground, making it extra hard to work specifically. Yet Cain, who worked really hard, gave the best of his fruits, was turned away by God because his fruits were vegetables instead of meat. God loves his meat. Hypatia Stanhope. Oh, I see. Hypatia. Yes, and there's also the Hypatia, the ancient intellectual female who was murdered, I think, by Christians. Wasn't she murdered by Christians, Hypatia? I know stuff. Or something. Let's see, who was she murdered by? Hypatia of Alexandria, a prominent pagan mathematician and philosopher, was brutally murdered in March 415 CE by a Christian mob led by a reader named Peter amidst a fierce political power struggle in Egypt. Yeah. Wait, Christians murdering a female philosopher? That's crazy. Who'd have thunk it? That's whack, man. Abel brought the fat and the firstborn. What did Cain bring? The fat from the vegetables and the firstborn of his vegetables. What the fuck? There's not an equivalent. And then listen, man, the dude did his best. And then for God to judge him in the way he does in the story. I like to point out, Christians, that they wonder how we get by without morals, without their God. And then you look in their Bible, and chapters 2 and 3, God is the first person to lie, and he lies to Adam and Eve. Chapter 4 is the first murder. Brother murders his own brother for the love of God. Ain't no wonder why you guys have been lying and killing each other for thousands of years now. Lying is like a signature move of Christians. Lying in projection. Just crazy, crazy. Not obviously all Christians, but damn, the you know who we're talking about. You know who we're talking about. Because he was jealous, not for the love of God. Who was he jealous of? Jackass. Who? Why? He was jealous of Abel because of God's love. What the fuck? Are you at? You're just a liar. You're a liar. You know you're lying. You know you're lying. I'm over you. So done. Sir Equinox, there's a movie about Hypatia of Alexandria called Agora. I may have to check that out. It's good, but I'm not sure how historically accurate it is. True. You got to watch that, don't you? Oh yeah, I see. You do on that one. Cool. Very cool. Let me see here. I'm just checking out something real quick. Mi burrito está lo bueno. Okay. So the whole free will thing then again about God creature. You know, we talk about how the dude wants proof that no God exists. I'm like, all right, well, what kind of proof do you want? Well, I challenge his God to break my cup. He claims his God is all powerful, could do anything. It doesn't break my cup. Therefore, his God doesn't exist. I've proven it. Well, we've also got the whole free will thing. Why, if your God exists, why doesn't it stop bad people from doing bad things? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you? Oh, well, free will. It's free will. He wouldn't want to interfere with that guy's free will. A fucking stop sign interferes with your free will. You pray for God creature to interfere with people's free will all the time. Hey, let Jimmy get that job, or I hope I get this role or whatever. And God's supposed to go magically somehow make that happen for you. How many times in the Bible? 20 is the answer. How many times in the Bible does God creature harden someone's heart? 20 times in the Bible. You know what that means, right? You know what that means, what he's doing. They had a will, and he infringed upon that will. 10 of those times specifically were the Pharaoh. So, for those of you who don't know, the God creature, Pharaoh was going to let the people go, but the God creature wanted to show his signs and wonders to the people of Egypt. So he hardened the Pharaoh's heart, even though the Pharaoh was going to let him go. His people go. He hardened his heart. So then God's signs and wonders are the 10 plagues. Go read that for yourself. Those are his signs and wonders. He couldn't be loving, couldn't change their hearts, couldn't do anything but plagues, famine, murdering children. This is God, creature. You don't really talk about those things in the church, in your Sunday schools, for some reason. I don't know why. Let's see. Oh, it's almost time to go. Let me see what we got here. Godspeed. Well, that's what somebody said about the vegan. I always thought the same thing. I thought it was kind of odd that one would go and do one and that the other would do the other. To me, it seems like the persons responsible for writing that portion of it were probably in the herder group, right? The nomadic herder group, and probably saw the farmer group who were stable and didn't, probably saw them, had a lesser than outlook on them, I would guess, based on their writings. I mean, I don't see really why. Anyway, we have had a special request from Jenny, the secular feelinist. Good morning. I didn't realize you changed your name. Very cool. D from the mid. So I'm going to play for you the Pharaoh's Curse, since you're so awesome and you asked. Good morning, Ron. Thank you for being here. So I'm sure there's other people I missed. You are all Clown, and hardening heart is Pharaoh's choice, not God's. That's not true. What the fuck? Really? Pharaoh made God harden Pharaoh's heart. That's not true. Let's see. Which one do I want? We're looking for a specific one. Let's go 421. I don't think that's the one. One sec. Hold on. Okay. All right. Here it is. Exodus 4. 4. Signs for Moses. Go pull this up on yourself. Notice I didn't go right to the scripture. I went to the whole book, chapter, so you can see the whole chapter, not out of context like Christians do. They're ones who really like the out of Christians. So it was 421. So let's look at 421 and the surrounding, okay? Now, here's starting at 19. Now the Lord had said to Moses in Midian, go back to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you are dead. So Moses took his wife and sons, put them on a donkey, and started back to Egypt. And he took the staff of God in his hand. The Lord said to Moses, when you return, see that you perform before the Pharaoh all the wonders I have given you the power to do. But I will harden his heart so that he will not let the people go. Then say to the Pharaoh, this is what the Lord says. Israel is my firstborn, and I told you, let my son go so he may worship me. But you refused to let him go, so I will kill you, your firstborns. God takes credit for it. Right there at the very beginning of all that shit, he says, but I will harden Pharaoh's heart. Lie to yourself all you want to. Just keep fucking lying to yourself. Oh, sorry, you're Clown. You're somebody else. Sorry, I was talking to somebody else. But still, in your case, Clown, because you're new, I don't know if you're just misunderstood. You're wrong. You are wrong. God took credit for that. Yep. Down here at the bottom, Moses and Aaron brought together all the elders of the Israelites, and Aaron told them everything the Lord had said to Moses. He also performed the signs before the people, and they believed. And when they heard the Lord was concerned for them, okay, that's pretty much the end. I want to see the one where... Okay, yeah, I see, because it is mentioned in a different one. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Is it Exodus 9? Let's see. Because obviously, I mean, I made my point right there already. God says he did it, but I'm looking for something else too. Okay. Not the one I'm looking for. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. One sec, I'll find it here like this. One second. We'll find that verse if it kills you. Ha. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Okay, hold on. While that one's loading, let's do this other one. $24. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Exodus 7. I was close. Fine. Let's go to Exodus 7. My people. That's not Luke 7. What the fuck, dude? Exodus. Hooked on phonics worked for me. Exodus 7. Okay. Then the Lord said to Moses, this is starting right there from the first of the chapter, 7:1. See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet. You are to say everything I command you, and your brother Aaron is to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country. Here we go again. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and though I multiply my signs and wonders in Egypt, he will not listen to you. Then I will lay my mighty hands on Egypt, and with mighty acts of judgment will bring out my divisions and my people and Israelites. Well, signs and wonders, what were they? Do you remember any of the signs and wonders besides the plagues and the murdering of the children? I don't remember any. But then whenever you get to, was it Ezekiel 22? 24? Let's see here, yeah. There's another place in the Bible. There's actually quite a few of them where God actually says, I did this thing so you would know that I am the Lord. And there's a couple of them, and they're usually horrific, like that last one I just mentioned. He said, I showed my signs and wonders and destroyed all these things so that they would know that I was the Lord. Well, they didn't start worshiping him. Why? Interesting. Anyway, let's go this one here. I usually have this one ready. I don't have my new notes. So then later on we have in Egypt, in Ezekiel, after God finishes telling Moses and his people, are bragging about telling Moses and his people to sacrifice their firstborn to him, because he did that. In Exodus 13 he did, and in another place in Exodus he told them to go sacrifice their children to him. In Ezekiel he brags about it. Ezekiel 20, verse 20. There we go. 20, I was close. And he was mad at them because he let them out of Egypt, and they wouldn't listen to him, and they kept worshiping other gods. Why would they, you would think, with him displaying his visual power right there for all of them to see, and yet they still worshiped other gods. Isn't that weird? Almost as if he doesn't exist, as if somebody just writing this shit down. Anyway, but they rebelled, and they would worship blah, blah, blah. But for my sake, I did this. I give them my decrees and made them my laws, yet the people of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness, despite how powerful he was. And then, down here, because they had not obeyed my laws, but had rejected my decrees and desecrated my Sabbath, and their eyes lusted after their parents' idols, so I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn. God creature admitting and bragging about it right there. What does he say after that? I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn, that I might fill them with horror, so that they know that I am the Lord. This is the God you worship? Let me, all right, so that was a question. This is the God you worship. All right, my friend, let me read my super chats here. You guys are so wonderful. I very much do appreciate all the support. I've now got a mouth to feed. It's a Core i7 processor. So. Let's see here. Super chats. Frosty Lore said, you got to remember that the Jewish God is an ancestor God that changed along the way. We can't remedy the situation except in my own mind, not antagonizing other people who do believe their opinion. I just think it's fair, considering the world is strange. Just my opinion. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We all have our place, I think, those of us who are against religion in the struggle. TEC said for $5, ah, yes, here we go again. The cosmic accident, talking about the non-existence of someone that doesn't think, he thinks doesn't exist. Makes mental asylums great again. And that's where I pointed out that mental asylums used to be full of people who either thought they were God or were talking to God. That was a God believer thing. That was a God bother thing that filled the mental institutions, wasn't it? And then again, let's go on. Frosty Lore said the people with full belief in God are evil, more than actual evil. But really, that conviction is the root of all evil we have here in this world. I'm not saying I don't believe in God, but us Christians are defenseless and cannot stop the status quo. I think part of it is a matter of a good Christian. Who's a good Christian? Who's a not? I want to say the Christians, the non-offensive Christians, the Christians who believe their faith and don't want to hurt other people. They are a small minority that need to speak up, I think. That's my opinion. Tech says, for $5, do you believe atheism is true? Do you have any empirical and scientific evidence that is absolutely true? If you don't, then you're a silly man. I kind of pointed out that atheism is simply the lack of a belief in a God creature, and that they have to actually prove their God creature first. Then I can disprove it. And then I pointed out that they believe in this great God creature that they can't prove. One of us is a silly man, since they can't prove it with empirical evidence, despite making all these claims. Then for another $5, TEC says, remember, guys, Batman doesn't exist, so talking about non-existence people is really, really important contribution to society. And essentially saying that I'm wasting my time talking about Jesus because I believe he doesn't exist, so why bother? But as I pointed out, it's the actions of believers that I'm here for. Believers are hurting other people and oppressing other people here in my country right now. And that's what I'm working. It has nothing to do with their God existing or not existing. It's the actions of the followers of that God creature. You know, somebody like this should actually be forced to go to every trans person who lost their military career when the Christians took it, and apologize to them personally, and shake their hands and beg their forgiveness. I doubt you'd be interested in doing that. And then Oddmod became a channel supporter. Thank you, Oddmod, for coining up, my friend. I appreciate it. We're cheap. It's cheap. It's just $1 a month. I mean, wow, that was all on the vertical side. The vertical stream just clubbed the horizontal stream like a baby harp seal today. Unless I got my streams wrong. I don't think I did. No super chats from the vertical streamers. No, horizontal streamers. The verts win. The verts did indeed win. Explain. I saw a new post. Wow, Jinxie, fuck that. That's crazy. Aren't they crazy, man? Jinxie64 says, a West Virginia pastor has decided to let his food pantry shelves go bare in response to finding out that his suppliers are LGBTQ supporters. Rather punish his suppliers than help the needy. And it's not like his suppliers are hurting other people. They're just being. That's all they're required by a Christian. Just be yourself, and they will hate you. Explain the cast out. Oh, I thought I saw a new name. NFL Music Highlights. NFL Music Highlights. I never really thought of NFL as a kind of a music kind of thing. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, interesting. It says, explain the cast out of demons in the church, please. Can you be more specific? What do you mean it's cast out of demons? People say they cast out demons. Have you ever seen like Benny Hinn, where he takes his coat, he's a pastor, and he waves his coat and he uses the power of God to cast out all the demons of all these people, and they fall over and the spirits moved out of them. Have you ever seen that, where they do that? Are you talking about those casting out of demons, or are you talking about like Jesus casting out the demons into the pigs? If you're talking about Jesus casting out the demons into the pigs, I want to point out something about that, which is interesting. Notice the demons speak to Jesus. They know who he is, don't they? They know who Jesus is. They don't say, Jesus, God creator, God creature who created everything in the entire universe, do they? No, they don't. They say, Jesus, the Son of God. They call him the Son of God. So for those of you who think Jesus and God are the same person because you don't want to go to hell for not worshiping God, worshiping Jesus instead, you're wrong. Jesus was a prophet, not God. All right, I'm off to save the world, my friends. I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful week. Sin safely, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress.
I didn't forget, Jenny. I did read the. You're talking about the super chats? I read the super chats. Unless there's super chats I didn't see over here, I read them all. Fan funding, I read them all. Tea and biscuits, and thank you for the staff meeting. Yeah, I read them all. Did I not? I thought I read them all. Read them all. Sorry, my friends, for interrupting the song. I hate it when I miss the things. And sometimes I do. Tea and biscuits for the staff meeting, in case I missed it. And then Odd Mod became, oh, that may be what it was, because I saw the Odd Mod thing on the other one. So we did get a... Thank you. So this, okay, all right. So the horizontal chat was not slacking as much as I thought. There was one there from the horizontal chat from IVN for $10, says tea and biscuits for the staff meeting for the puppies. Thank you very much. So, the horizontal chat did step up a little bit. You guys are awesome. All right, my friends, you are wonderful. Yeah, okay, thank you. If I missed it, Jenny, sorry. If I didn't miss it, I don't mind saying it twice. You guys have a wonderful day. Sin safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the goat